Wish you welcome. Mayor Finch, obviously, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. We have put a solar panel in this building. We installed it and actually invested in it so that the building itself did not have to come out with any money whatsoever. And we is Sound Solar Systems, who's the installation company, Tony Savino, right to my left here from Sound Solar. And Tom Athen of Altus Power Management, who I belong to as well, now to my left, who put up the money to put the system in place. And you need a couple of things in order to get a good solar system up and running. The first thing, of course, is sun. And it seems like big oil has conspired with high powers or so to try to stop us from getting this thing going with the weather we have outside today. But believe it or not, even with this weather, the solar system is actually generating electricity. Tiny, tiny amounts. So that Bill would have to operate with most of the lights out today. But as long as we get some sun, it's going to be good again. The good thing with rain is that it cleans the panels. And so people often ask us, what is the maintenance or service you need to do to a system with solar panels? And the answer is not a whole lot, because these are static state. They don't really have any moving parts. They just need to be there. But to the extent they get covered by pollen and debris and other things, a nice day of rain, like we have today, it didn't have to be this cold, but at least some rain, will actually clean the panels so that they produce slightly more electricity tomorrow than the other ones will. You also need a state, like the state of Connecticut, that supports solar and clean energy. And we have in the state of Connecticut the Clean Energy Fund, the CCF. And interestingly, the legislature has actually agreed on a bill that's in front of the governor right now. And I think she hasn't signed it yet, but maybe hopefully she will. And this bill will mean that Connecticut jumps from being somewhat on the bottom of states in New England to up on top, together with New Jersey and Massachusetts, in terms of allocating resources to installation of clean energy, whether wind, solar electrical, solar hot water, and all these things. So to the extent that you guys would like some more clean energy, some cheaper energy, and some jobs in the city of Connecticut, you should call the governor and ask her to sign it. Finally, you need a mayor and a city, like the city of Bridgeport, which happens to be very well suited for this stuff. It has a lot of industrial buildings, not a lot of shading, and even some of the best wind in Connecticut. It's going to be a tougher nut to crack to put windmills up here because you need a lot of wind to make them spin. But if it's going to happen somewhere in Connecticut, it should be in Bridgeport. So with that, I'd like to hand the microphone over to the mayor for a few remarks, and then he's going to help us to turn the system on. Mayor,
thank you. Thanks very much. This is very, very exciting because this is real. This is really happening. This is not just a theory in Washington with some bureaucrat. This is people putting money up to capture solar energy. And I can speak to you firsthand about the power of the sun. I have 12 stitches underneath here where they remove something from my face because of the sun. And I'm going to be leaving here in about 20 minutes to go get it changed. But the sun has always been there. It's free, and we're a little bit of a dunderhead Homo sapiens that we are. It's taken us a while to figure it out. The sun is free. When the sun goes away, the earth goes away. So for the next couple million years that we need energy on the earth, the source is the sun, which also creates the wind. So we've taken a while to get to this point, and as has been said, the state of Connecticut's taken a while. But we all know in our heart of hearts that the way to get off our addiction to foreign oil, the way to stop sending money to people who want to blow up our buildings or who are petro-dictators is to start sending it to ourselves and taking the money. And Tom, your great work in figuring out the financing of this is much appreciated. We are going out now to lease all the rooftops in the city of Bridgeport. We have an RFP out now. I've also had an RFP out for a energy park, a green energy park, right across the water here, right across from Kay Williams Captain's Cove, to cover the old landfill with green energy, whether it's geothermal and solar and wind, or just greenhouses and solar, whatever it is. We have great opportunities here, as has been said before. Bridgeport has some serious problems that it has to dig itself out from, and one of them is not having enough jobs. The other is having electricity that scares business away because of the cost. Solar energy, renewable energy, wind, geothermal, those are all things that we have here, will lower our cost of doing business, attract businesses in, and create jobs all at the same time. So the investing in solar, geothermal, wind, all the renewables is probably the smartest single thing that we could all do together to make Bridgeport a better place and to help the economy in the region. There's a great book out called The Green Collar Economy, which ties all this together. How do you create jobs? How do you get off of our addiction to foreign oil? And how do you stop climate change? You know, the water level is going to be up over Captain's Cove in parts of it if we don't do something. It's 100 years from now, okay? But to stop these kind of forces takes 20, 30, 40, 50, 60-year commitments. I just got back from China, and it was amazing. I went to the future, and unfortunately I came back to the past. It's an amazing country. There are 100 cities with over 1 million people. They have urbanized the equivalent of the United States population by moving them from what they view are inferior locations in rural and suburban locations to superior locations within cities. Because we all know the carbon footprint of those of us who live in cities is half of the carbon footprint of those who may live in the suburbs. The carbon footprint of an individual living in Trumbull is, and imagine this, cup your hands full of gas, and then try to get a ton of that gas, and then multiply it times 14,000. Someone living outside of a city in the United States, in an affluent suburb, creates about 14,000 tons of greenhouse gases by their lifestyle every year. Simply moving to a city, you create about 7,500 tons of greenhouse gases. It's just amazing, and it's what you cup in your hands, gas, and you have to get a ton of that, and that's what we create. So the atmosphere is big, but it's not that big that our impact isn't being felt. So we're creating jobs, we are saving money, and we're lowering our carbon footprint and getting off our addiction to foreign oil and stop giving money to people who want to blow up our buildings. I'm trying to find a downside. Can you think of a downside? The downside is we don't have the will. We don't have the will yet as a nation. But Enviro had the will. And they found the people to do it. And that's why I wanted to be here today, because I want to applaud every company that does this. This is not just saving you electricity. This is changing the way the United States of America and our children's generation will live in the future. That's what this is. This is not just solar panels on the roof. This is changing the way the United States of America lives and the way we are going to be able to compete in the world, knowing what China is already doing. I went to a town. Did anybody ever heard of a city called Chengdu? 1, 2, 3. Okay, that's the highest number I've ever gotten in a group. I felt so ignorant when I went to China. They're going to fly us to Chengdu. They had 4 mayors from the United States and 4 mayors from China. We're going to have a conference on sustainability. And our Be Green 2020 effort, which is online, which I urge you all to take a look at, is now being looked at all over the world. I'm very proud of it. But I learned it all from Kay. I fly into a city, the airport's the size of Newark Airport. It's a city I never heard of. And I asked the mayor what his population was. It's about double the population of New York City. And he's had a busy year because he just completed an entire subway system. That was Mayor Good. And another mayor from another city I never heard of, he told me he had a rough year too. And I said, why? He said, I had to build 7 sewage treatment plants. I think there's 8 in Fairfield County. If Connecticut were a city in China, Connecticut, 3.5 million people, we'd be a medium-sized city. So that's the challenges we have. And of course, that's their difficulty, because, you know, a little thing in China is magnified over a population 5 times us. So their problems become much bigger than ours. Our problems are more manageable. And I want to urge everybody here to dedicate themselves to the new green economy, because that's how we're going to do all of the wonderful things that we did. So my hat's off to Enviro. I wish Bill was here. I'd give him a big hug and I'd tell him, attaboy, great job. When's the next one going up? But we have a great spirit in Bridgeport of our entrepreneurs. We have great new partners. I'm looking forward to seeing you respond to all those RFPs, maybe get you some more business. We look at this way, we have to do more with less. Our city budget, I want to brag just for a second. Our budget in Bridgeport, we did not raise taxes this year. We're the only city in the United States that I can think of that hasn't. We've cut, for 2 years, we've cut spending by $3 million. And the budget passed unanimously with no tax increase. So I want to applaud my city council. I want to applaud all of you for what you're doing. It's the right path to go down by being fiscally conservative, by looking toward the sun. We've got a great, bright future for everybody. So thank you very much. Please applaud Enviro Systems.